You could actually feel the tension through the screen, like something was about to snap. Not just another WWE segment, not scripted drama, but something dangerously real. And if you watched WWE RAW on March 3rd, 2026, then you already know this wasn't just a brawl. This was a collision. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and it got out of control fast. But here's the thing nobody is talking about. Was this really part of the show? Or did things go off script? Because what we saw that night didn't feel rehearsed. It felt personal. It felt like years of resentment boiling over in front of millions of people. And before we break it down, answer this in the comments. Who do you think started it, Roman Reigns or CM Punk? Because depending on your answer, you might be seeing this entire situation wrong. The arena was already electric before either man even stepped out. You could sense it. Fans weren't just excited, they were divided. Chants were echoing before the cameras even focused on the entrance ramp. Half the crowd screaming for Roman, the other half ready to ride or die with Punk. And that right there is where the problem started. Because this wasn't just about wrestling anymore. This was about legacy. Roman Reigns walked out first, slow, controlled, calculated. That signature confidence. That aura of dominance. He didn't rush. He never does. Every step he took screamed, "I own this place." But something was off. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't soaking in the reaction. He looked irritated, almost like he already knew what was coming. And then, CM Punk's music hit. The reaction? Explosive. Not just loud, chaotic. The kind of reaction that splits an arena in half. And Punk didn't walk out like a performer. He stormed out like a man with something to prove. No playing to the crowd. No slow build. Straight to the ring. And right there, right in that moment, you could feel it. This wasn't going to stay verbal for long. Now, let me ask you something. When Punk walked out, did you think this was going to end in a fight? Or were you expecting just another promo? Be honest, because nobody expected it to escalate that fast. Punk grabbed the mic first. And he didn't waste a second. No jokes. No crowd work. Straight to Roman. He called him out, not just as a champion, but as a manufactured figurehead. Someone who, in Punk's words, was handed everything while others bled for it. And you could hear the shift in the crowd. That line hit hard. Roman didn't interrupt. That's what made it worse. He just stood there, staring. Cold. Unbothered. But you could see it in his eyes. That wasn't calm. That was restraint.
Punk kept going. Talking about the past.
Talking about respect. Talking about how Roman's era wasn't built the same way his was. And then he said something that changed everything. You didn't earn the throne, you inherited it. Silence. For a split second, the entire arena froze. And then,
boom.
Roman stepped forward. Not aggressively, but deliberately. And when he finally spoke,
his voice was low.
Controlled. Dangerous. You done? That's all he said. 2 words. But the way he said it, that wasn't acting. Quick question for you. Who do you think delivered the stronger promo? Punk or Roman? Because this is where opinions start to split hard. Roman didn't shout. He didn't insult. He dismantled Punk with precision. He talked about loyalty, about carrying the company, about showing up every single time when others walked away. And you knew exactly what he meant.
He didn't have to say it.
Punk's face said it all. That line landed.
Deep.
But Punk didn't back down. Not even a little. He stepped closer. Too close. Now they're face to face. No space. No buffer. And the tension? Unreal. You could literally see security at ringside starting to shift, just in case. Because this wasn't looking like a promo anymore. This was looking like a trigger waiting to be pulled. And then it happened. Not a shove. Not a warning. A strike.
Fast. Sudden.
Explosive. Nobody expected it. 1 second they're talking. The next second they're swinging.
Be real with me.
Did you see that first punch coming? Or did it completely catch you off guard? The crowd lost its mind. Instant chaos. Roman fired back immediately. No hesitation. These weren't pulled punches either. They were stiff, aggressive, and way too real looking. Punk went for another shot. Roman ducked, countered, and suddenly, it wasn't just a fight. It was a brawl. They crashed into the ropes. Referees rushed in, useless. Security hit the ring, overwhelmed. Because neither man was stopping. Roman grabbed Punk, slammed him into the turnbuckle. Punk fired back with elbows. Rapid, desperate, relentless. You could hear the impact. That's what made it so intense. Not the visuals.
The sound.
And here's where things got even crazier. Roman backed up and speared him. Out of nowhere. Full force. The kind of spear you don't just shake off. The kind that ends matches. But this wasn't a match. Punk hit the mat hard. And for a split second, it looked like it was over. But nope. Not even close. Because Punk got back up. Let me ask you this. Should Punk have stayed down after that spear? Or did getting back up make the moment even better? Punk staggered, wiped blood from his lip, and laughed.
Yeah, laughed.
That's when you knew. This wasn't just physical anymore. This was psychological warfare. Roman didn't like that. Not one bit. He charged again. But Punk was ready this time. Counter.
Kick. Strike.
Another strike. And now Roman's the one getting pushed back. The crowd?
Split. Loud.
Chaotic. Nobody knew who to root for anymore. They just wanted more. Security finally managed to separate them. Barely. It took multiple officials. Multiple referees. And even then, both men were still trying to break free. Roman shouting. Punk yelling back. You couldn't even make out all the words. Just raw anger. And then, just when it seemed like things might calm down, Punk broke loose. Rushed Roman again. And it started all over. Who had the upper hand in that second exchange? Roman or Punk? Drop your answer right now. This time it spilled out of the ring. Into the chaos. Into the barricade. Into the crowd zone. Completely uncontrolled. Roman slammed Punk into the announce table. Papers flying. Monitors shaking. Commentators scrambling. And then, Punk reversed. Roman goes into the table.
Hard.
And now it's just destruction. No structure. No pacing. Just fight. At this point, you have to ask the question nobody wants to say out loud. Was this still scripted? Or had it crossed the line? Because the intensity didn't feel staged anymore. The reactions didn't feel rehearsed. This felt like two men who genuinely wanted to hurt each other. What do you think? Was this a work, or did it turn into something real? Eventually, more officials poured out. This time, enough to actually pull them apart.
Barely.
Both men exhausted. Sweating.
Bruised.
Still trying to lunge at each other. And the final image? Roman being held back on one side, Punk on the other, both staring each other down like it wasn't over. Like it had just begun. No handshake. No resolution. No winner. Just tension. And that's what made this moment so powerful. Because it didn't feel like the end of a segment. It felt like the beginning of a war. Now here's where things get really interesting. Because after Raw went off air, reports started coming out. Backstage reactions. Locker room tension. People talking. Speculation everywhere. Some say this was planned. Others say things went too far. That emotions took over. That lines were crossed. And if that's true, then what we saw wasn't just entertainment. It was something else entirely. Final question for you. If this feud continues, who walks out on top? Roman Reigns or CM Punk? And more importantly, are you ready for what happens next? Because if this was just the beginning, then WWE might have just unleashed something they can't control. And honestly, that's exactly why we can't stop watching.